Good afternoon, friends. Big River here. Today is Friday, September 18th, and I am out at Crater Lake. Let's look at this place. Isn't it beautiful? This is an actual volcanic rim, and that's the crater in the middle, and there's a lake here now. It's super blue water. Beautiful. Today, I want to talk to you all about holding space. And how important that is for somebody as they're working through things. When you hold space for somebody, you basically sit and listen, and in your mind, you just leave your mind as blank as you can, with especially judgments. Like if they're telling you something that's really personal, you don't really want to cast any judgments like, oh, that's wrong, that's right, that's wrong, or that other person was an idiot, or whatever the story is. You want to keep your mind free of those judgments. And when you do that, it's important to the other person, because when they're putting the stuff out there, like when they're explaining a story of something that happened and they need some help to process it, if you like have a facial expression like of disgust or anger or something, they're just going to shut down and they're not going to get it out. And a lot of times it's not really important for you to hear what they're saying. It's important for them to get it out and to think about what they're saying, because sometimes thoughts happen really fast. So when you think about something, it goes by in your head really fast. You can process it quick, right? But sometimes as you're explaining it to somebody else, like, oh, I wish this or this or this, and you explain that to somebody else, then things start to make more sense to the other person, the person that's explaining it, to, the person you're holding space for. So it's really important to hold good space for somebody. It's something really important to work on when you're healing. Now, that is one of my natural God-given talents, is holding space for people, and I can actually do it so well. I can hold space in other dimensions, and I really won't go into that today, but that's one of the things I can help people with. If you feel like you need that, I can hold space for you so that you can reconnect up with your soul and listen to it. Yeah. Yesterday, I had some very interesting conversations with a friend of mine who really understands kind of the inner workings of the cosmos. And we started talking about atoms, right? You've got your protons, your electrons, and your neutrons, right? So your protons are positively charged, and they're in a nucleus, and your electrons are negatively charged, and they're spinning around the outside, right? And they're the only ones that are charged, but you've got neutrons there. And you sit there and think like, well, what does a neutron do? And if you read the scientific explanations, it's basically mass that's there that keeps atoms from flying apart. And the weight of the neutron equals the weight of the proton and the electron. And if it wasn't there, it'd fly apart. And it hit me like atoms are holding space. I mean, the neutrons are holding space for the atom that it's a part of, so that it can exist, right? So not only that, but think about how an atom really works, right? There's inner space, you got the nucleus, and you got the space between your nucleus and your electrons, and then you got space outside your electrons where things exchange itself. So it needs that space to expand into. So when you're holding space for somebody, you're giving them room for expansion. It's how the basic fundamental properties of the universe works. That's why it's important. Yeah, you can like figure stuff out on your own, But that's why when you have somebody holding space for you, things click more. They're helping your expansion. It's basic science. Well, I can't say that. Science explains things. But I'm just kind of using the reference of neutrons and how important they are for the atomic structure. So if Creator put neutrons in the basic elements, building blocks of our elements, then we should be able to hold space for our loved ones as they work on stuff and they're doing their expansion. So I encourage you to hold space as well as you can, because it's important. Okay? Crater Lake. Hokahe! Aho.